In the last clip, I introduced a series that I am developing called Daniel Discerning the Times, and that's my integrative approach to try to understand how do I try to impact young adults, men and women, especially Christian men and women who are called to be in the world but not of it. And how do you do that fruitfully and powerfully? And how do we equip them? And I thought in a postmodern world, which is a hostile world regarding Christians. And so one of the key things, I think, if you look at the biblical story of Daniel, he was a young man and his three friends, Daniel's friends, who are in Babylon in the exile, and Israel is under severe chastisement and judgment, and so there is very painful negative history, as it were, and yet we find that he is an excellent administrator, as evidenced by the position he has, and he seems to be integrated. We see that he has piety, as evidenced by prayer life, and he's an excellent administrator. You don't have any report in the book of Daniel of the Babylonians criticizing his administrative work. In fact, he's praised for it. They're trying to take him down because of his Jewish piety, as evidenced in his prayer life, which they apparently perceived as some kind of a threat. For Daniel to be in the world, not of it, you have to integrate. What is the world? What is my faith? And how do the two things overlap? And how do I function thereof? Integration is critical, and it's something I have been working on for years and years, since I have training in psychology, which is predominantly a human science and wonderful science that tries to discern truth. And then I'm also trained in theology, which is an ancient discipline in science as well, that is trying to make sense and understand, reveal truth. So theology proposes truth as revealed, and science tries to discover truth. They're pointing to the same place, into the same thing. So integration for me is like two Venn diagrams, two circles with an overlap. Integration from the Latin word suggests something being joined of two things, A and B. What's integrated is what's the overlap area, what's joined. And I think that's the key to helping the Daniels. And there has, whatever a person's faith, it has to be integrated in their heart, in their mind, their thinking, as well as their devotion, as well as what we call spirituality, as well as how they operate in relationship and how they do work. It needs to be integrated. Okay, now, when I was trained in theology, we were trained in hermeneutics, which is the science of interpretation, and there's a clear method to that. And then when I trained in psychoanalysis and psychology, we were taught the hermeneutics of interpreting not the sacred text, but the subjective walking text. Now, both hermeneutics, whether it's interpreting sacred text or the human walking text, is the exact same step. And so when I started to study psychology, I go, oh my goodness, I know how this is like. I was trained this way. Because they're both trying to interpret. Now, bringing into play neuroscience, because the 1990s is considered a decade of the brain, which shifted radically the paradigm we have in psychology. In my opinion, pastors and churches are about 10, 15 years behind the shift in neuroscience. And since I clinically supervise postgraduate interns, these are people who have their master's degree fresh out of graduate school, and they have to spend accumulating 2,000 hours, clinical hours, before they can take their license test. By and large, they're 5 to 10 years behind neuroscience, which is interesting for me. So I have to reboot them, because neuroscience is a huge, huge impact in psychology, and it's something that is incredibly helpful to us as a Christian. One of the things neuroscience teaches us, helps us understand, is that human awareness, consciousness, is only 5%. So your neocortex, the top part, the rational part, that is making sense of all the incoming stimuli from the bottom up, from all the extremities and so forth, and from interpersonal dynamic, is trying to press down, organize, making sense. This thing, if you use an iceberg metaphor, this thing would be the waterline. This is what I'm conscious of. Oh, I'm talking to you. I'm having a conversation. Hi, Jack. Are we going to go get a pizza? And if you interview this person, what's going on? Oh, I'm talking to Jack, a person. Underneath the waterline, the unconscious system, which operates outside of human awareness and consciousness, 95% of it, the system is not processing Jack as Jack, but as a symbol, part of a narrative, metaphorically, because the structures and architecture and the dynamic of the brain is, the system, unconscious system, if it could speak, it might be saying something like, yeah, I'm having a conversation with Jack, and I want him to agree with me to go get a pizza. But Jack, okay, backfile, Jack, okay. What Jacks have we known in the past? Oh, yes, he's a male, and he's an athletic dude. What's my experience in interacting with athletic dudes? I don't like them because I'm a nerd. Oh, is that why I feel a little tense and nervous and cautious? Why don't I say, hey, Jack, let's go get a pizza? Why am I going, Jack, do you want to get a pizza? What is that emotion? Welcome to what's below the waterline. Okay? So, what has this got to do with Daniel? Well, I don't know. But I try to make up something. Fair enough. Since it's my YouTube. Okay. There is significance. Integration is joining. In order to join, you have to really pay attention to your whole system best you can. Who is this person, Daniel? What is his Jewish roots? Who trained them? How is it that he has prayer piety? And how is it that he is an excellent administrator and got high marks in a Babylonian university, as evidenced by he got a high position? And what is going on? And what is God doing through this? And who he is, how he's gifted. How does this all unfold in terms of what are you doing, God, for goodness sake? Is this just a dark period of Israel? Yet, Daniel's going to have visitations from heaven. And he's going to have revolutionary views about what's happening and what's going to happen. What? of all the people in Babylon, Daniel is given treasures, prophetic treasures. Babylon has risen and has fallen. Daniel, what he has said, stands, and yet to be fully fulfilled. Oh my goodness, we're in trouble. You can't just read Daniel as, oh, interesting Jewish boy. Huh. No. Welcome to integration. Heaven, earth, humans, society, culture, sacred texts, secular technology, administrative skills. And then how do we help young people to be salt and light? How do we help young adults to have faith, profound heart assurance of faith, and don't fight culture, don't fight the world? Daniel's not fighting the Babylonians. He's serving them. And I go, we are in trouble. Integration. So, at the rest of the PowerPoint, I would try to make sense of Daniel and how he is an excellent model for us to consider as we think about helping young people as they face their world and as they go forward in the future. Thanks.